Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Well, the train's pulling in for Subway Series Phase 2, Take 2, this time at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The first time these two teams met, the Mets won 2 out of 3. The Yankees are hoping to turn things around this weekend in the Bronx. Huge crowds are expected at the big ballpark in the Bronx. And tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Mets against the New York Yankees in the first game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Well, if you're going to the Subway Series, what better way to come here than with the Subway? Yankees and the Mets will start in moments here at the stadium, and the Mets come in with a 3-game losing streak. They just got slapped around by the Red Sox, and that's nothing new. The American League has dominated the National League and Interleague play this season, 131 wins to 79 losses, and every single one of those categories, the American League excels. Here back with Al Leiter, I'm Michael Kay, and you wonder, with the Mets' 3-game losing streak to the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park, will the Mets somewhat exposed?
I think a little bit of that, but also, let's face it, the Red Sox are hot. They've won 10 in a row. The Blue Jays beat the Mets, and they weren't really playing at their best, so I think it could be a combination of both.
Now, in terms of exposure, what's the thing that you saw from the Mets in Boston you said, well, that's something they have to improve?
Well, you know, they had their 2 best, and Pedro, who wasn't Pedro, I don't know whether it was the emotions of going back to Fenway, and certainly Tom Glavine pitched well enough yesterday. He didn't go deep into the game, but having Carlos Delgado injured wasn't a good situation for them, so I think they have probably the most glaring issue for them will be that number 3 starter.
Well, that number 3 starter could be El Duque, could be Traxel, could be Soler, and the Yankees will see all of them this weekend. Lineups, first pitch coming up next right here on Yes. From Babe Ruth Plaza, right inside the house that Babe Ruth built, you see Mike Messina up on the board. He's taking his warm-ups right now, and we'll take a look at the Mets starting lineup that he's going to face. And the Mets starting lineup is presented, as always, by our good friends at Rico. Jose Reyes will lead off for the Mets. He's their shortstop. Paul LaDuca will DH today. He's going to bat second. Batting third and playing center field, Carlos Beltran in his second year of work with the Mets. David Wright, the third baseman, did not have a good series in Boston, but none of the Mets did. He's going to clean up, and he has great numbers against the Yankees lifetime. Cliff Floyd in left field, back off the DL. They sent down Lastings Millage. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing second base, Jose Valentin. The ageless one, Julio Franco at first base will bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing right field, Endy Chavez. And Ramon Castro will catch. He'll bat ninth.
And Mike Mussina on the mound. He's having a heck of a year. He's really been very consistent, probably the most consistent starter for the Yankees. You see 17 starts, 9-3 record with a nice 3.28 ERA. Few hits per innings, less than innings. 10 times 15. When he gets his double digits, it'll be the most in the American League. He shares that right now with our fellow broadcaster, Jim Cott. 20 question mark. He's had a few great years, 18-5, 19-9, 18-7. Could this be the year? And head games, well, he's going to change a lot of speed, and his speeds are going to be anywhere 88 to 90 miles an hour to 67 to 68 miles an hour. And that's your Land Rover pitcher scatter report.
Well, we're ready for baseball here in the Bronx. And finally, a nice day without much of a threat of rain, which is great. Full house here at the stadium. All 3 games are going to be sold out, as every interleague game seems to be, between the Yankees and the Mets. And Jose Reyes digs in. Mike Messina is ready. And the veteran right-hander deals to the Mets shortstop. Swings at the first pitch and skies it to left center. Johnny Damon's there. 1 pitch, 1 out. Let's take a look at the entire Yankee defense behind Mike Messina. You know that Damon is in center, sandwiched around him Cabrera. Melky Cabrera's in left. Bernie Williams over and right in the infield. A-Rod, Jeter, Cairo, Phillips as third to first. Posada behind the plate. And Mike Messina is on the mound. Now here's Paul LaDuca, one of the pickups the Mets made during the offseason after Mike Piazza left as a free agent. Mets really didn't have much of an interest in bringing him back. LaDuca's having a nice season. And the pitch by Messina is outside, 1-0. Yankees baseball is presented in high definition where available. It's brought to you by Sony Bravia. LaDuca, 7 for his last 18, 9 for his last 27. And he's getting half a day off because he is the DH. You see that Larry Poncino just made the call of a strike. The rest of the crew, Jerry Davis is at first, the veteran crew chief Tim McClellan at second, and Ed Hickox is over at third. They'll be here all weekend. So will the Yankees and the Mets. The 1-1. Scooped up by Posada, the count 2-1. And Yankees baseball is broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Toyota. A smart way to keep moving forward. And the count now 3-1 to LaDuca. Mets a good road team. They're 25-16. And only the Tigers have won more road games with 26. Foul back. Mets come into this game at 47-31, and Willie Randolph has led them to the best record in the National League.
Talking to Willie before the game, I said, how'd that Boston team impress you? And man, I know they're hot, but other than being hot, they're a good ball club. And one of the things that's happening here in interleague play is the best of the best of the American League are crushing the best of the National League, except really the Yankees. They're only one game over 500 against them.
High fly ball center field. Damon there, and Damon puts it away. 2 down, and that's strange, Jim, because the Yankees have always played well interleague play. 101-70 is their record, and only the Oakland Athletics at 103-70 have a better record.
Well, Boston has built their lead with interleague play. They're 14-1. The 3 teams in the Central, the 3 top teams, are 13-2. And I mean, even against the Cardinals, who you'd say the Cardinals and the Mets are certainly the class of the National League.
Here's Carlos Beltran. And there's a strike. Beltran having a much better second season with the Mets. Struggled in his first year after signing that big money free agent contract. Seems more comfortable. Took him a while to get acclimated to the city. And another strike on a breaking ball, the count 0-2.
That last pitch, Mike Messina calls that dumping his changeup for his break. He comes right over the top, and it's almost like he's pulling down on a window shade, and it just floats in there. Low 70s, high 60s mile per hour.
The 0-2 missed outside. The count 1-2. Grounded sharply to second, and under the glove of Cairo, trickles into right field. We'll see how they score it. It should be an E4 because Cairo would tell you he should make that play, and it is scored an E4.
Old infielder's adage, 9 out of 10 go under. 3 things you want to get down: your head, your butt, and your glove. And Miggy just never got down to it, and it scooted right underneath. That's usually a play, and that's a play you play it like that if you're playing on AstroTurf. But it's a ball that on grass and dirt, you really have to get your body behind it, square it up, and he never did do that.
Second error of the year for Cairo. And here's David Wright having an MVP type season. Although 4 for his last 22, calming down just a little bit.
And speaking of that MVP, the Bacardi scouting report, Wright is right. When he is on, he goes to right center a lot. You'll see a lot of balls go to right field and right center. MVP, question mark, he leads in an awful lot of categories. And that tide's rising. He's from Norfolk, Virginia, and he watched the Mets Tidewater Tides AAA team for years. He's a big fan of the sport. He's a fan of the history of the game, and you really couldn't have a better ball player and a better teammate and a good kid. He really, really wants to be great, and he does an awful lot of good things as a player.
If this was an SAT test, you'd say Jeter is to the Yankees what Wright is to the Mets. The person they are building around, the face of their franchise. And there's a strike.
And now with an 0-2 count, because of what a threat he is, Messina's got him in a hole. And the crowd wants the strikeout. You would look for Belcher. That's the one thing the Mets can do. The last 8 times the opposition's been successful against Messina. And the Mets lead the major leagues in stolen bases. So they ought to use that weapon in this series.
Just missed outside. Posada went to the dugout. Messina headed to the dugout. Larry Poncino called strikes a little bit late, and they were ready for him to raise his right arm. He never did.
Yeah, Larry will probably say, I'm on the computer. I mean, it.
Watch this ball come back. That's a two-seam ball. Yeah. Might have been a little off.
I think from that angle right there, that caught the front corner. Part of that ball had the corner.
The 1-2. Foul back.
As hitters give up on that two-seam fastball away, and Greg Maddux made it the perfection of it, where it looks like it's going to be at 3-6 inches outside, and then it comes back over the plate, and that's exactly what Messina tried to do there.
I wonder if umpires give up on it.
Perhaps.
Oh, yeah. They get fooled sometimes, just like hitters.
The 1-2. Posada keeps it in front of him. The count 2-2.
It was a long-time American League umpire, John Shulock, and he umpired the '91 World Series, and he actually watched tapes. So we're going to look at Posada block the breaking ball. He watched tapes of the different pitchers to kind of find out what they threw in certain counts, so he could anticipate a little bit or have an idea. So he didn't get fooled.
Battling. Count still 2-2.
And in these days with pitch counts, Mike Messina in particular, that pitch not being called a strike, he's now had to throw, I think, an extra at least 5 pitches since then.
And also the error by Cairo didn't help him. He would have been out of the inning in 11 pitches, but he's thrown 17 so far. This is the 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. The 2-2. He struck him out. Went upstairs with the fastball. Wright swings through. Strong inning for Messina. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. It's the New York Mets nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Big game. The mayor's here, Michael Bloomberg. And he is locked in. Who's he rooting for? I wonder. Well, the Yankees starting lineup presented by Rico. Johnny Damon's in center. He's going to lead off. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, will bat second. Great numbers lifetime against the Mets. 365, 9 homers, 25 ribbies. Jason Giambi DHs. He'll bat third. A-Rod coming off the walk-off home run, cleans up and bats in the number 4 hole and plays third. Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, Andy Phillips, Melky Cabrera's in left batting 8th, and Miguel Cairo, the second baseman, bats 9th.
And Orlando Hernandez is on the mound. You see his numbers: 15 starts, 4-7 with the 5.82 ERA. Not good there. More hits per inning. His last start in Toronto was not a good one. The one before in Arizona was very good. So we'll see what it is. The Yankee fans know what to expect. Let's take a look at the Land Rover pitcher scatter report. Big game performer. Yankee fans know that. 4-1 lifetime. Yankees for the Yankees in the World Series. Deceptive arsenal. You'll see him drop down. He'll change speeds. If his fastball's on, he'll look pretty tough on these Yankee hitters.
And the last line was how much left. So let me ask you, how much is left?
Well, look, if you get up in age and the velocity drops, you got to start inventing a little bit more. We'll see.
Well, he's invented his way to 0-2 on Damon.
Well, if you talk to players on both teams, managers, coaches, they'll say you get an early read on El Duque, and the fact that he threw 2 strikes.
Ground ball to second, backhanded by Valentin. 1 away.
I mean, you seldom see him get a 3-pitch out. El Duque is usually get ahead, expand the strike zone. I think he's kind of jacked up to put on a vintage El Duque performance in front of this crowd tonight. You see him start tugging at that shirt, going to his cap. He gets his mojo working, gets in a little bit of rhythm. And that's when he's very effective.
There's Derek Jeter. Played many of those, all of those World Series games behind El Duque. So El Duque familiar with Jeter's work. And the pitch is high, 1-0. You wonder who has the advantage, a pitcher that has seen these guys bat all the time from the bench, or the hitter that has played behind this pitcher for so long. So is Jeter ahead mentally of El Duque right now? History would say no, he's 1 for 6. Nice play by Wright.
In answer to your question, Michael, I think against a normal pitcher, not to say that El Duque is abnormal, but he's unpredictable. And so even though you've seen him 15 times, you don't know what you're going to see tonight. You don't know what he's going to throw in any particular count. And if he throws strikes, that's why he's tough, because he doesn't pitch in a regular pattern. Jeter hit that ball sharply, and Wright's right there.
Seems very strange. El Duque, who defected from Cuba, is dealing to Castro. Just doesn't seem right. Ramon Castro, the catcher. And a breaking ball is low.
This Castro won't banish him to the cleaning out restrooms in sanitariums in Cuba like Fidel did to El Duque.
The 1-0. Slow, slow, and slower. 69-mile-an-hour curveball is called the strike. Sure, El Duque would have loved to have thrown at Castro. Deep to right. Chavez back on the track, looking up. See ya! A solo home run for Jason Giambi. His 11th home run in June. And the Yankees have a 1-0 lead. '24th home run of the year for Giambi, and as I mentioned, 11 of them this month.
Number 13.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, his first at bat since the walk-off home run. And some of the thunder or applause that he might have received kind of stolen by the euphoric crowd trying to congratulate Giambi on his home run. So A-Rod's intro by Bob Shepard kind of drowned out. Breaking ball is a strike, the count 1-1. The 1-1. 1-2.
Well, the book on Giambi years ago is you could jam him. Not anymore. Every time a pitcher has tried to come in there, if they don't get it way in, it's ended up in the seats.
Popped up behind the plate. Castro makes the play, and that'll do it here in the first. But the Yankees have a 1-0 lead on one swing. Jason Giambi goes yard, his 24th home run of the year, and the Yankees, after 1 inning of play, lead the Mets 1-0 right here on. Let's take a look at the J&R Music and Computer World upcoming schedule. The Mets are in tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow Fox does the honors at 1:20, and then Sunday ESPN at 8. Then the Indians, the Yankees go to Cleveland Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for a 4-game set. So the Yankees are in Cleveland on the 4th of July. And our batting practice show, we will have it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So be sure to tune in. And by the way, hope everybody out there who's watching the game has a great holiday weekend. And the pitch is outside the Cliff Floyd. Cliff was just brought off the DL today, and the Mets sent down their Wonderkind, and that is Lasting's Millage. Cliff has been on the DL since June 17th with a sprained left ankle. Ripped to right, foul. Tonight's closed captioning presented by your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Lexus dealers. Floyd has not had a great year with the Mets. Before he got hurt, he was swinging the bat a bit better, but hitting just .238. Pops it up. Posada. 1 out. Here's Jose Valentin. He has emerged as the Mets' second baseman. Kaz Matsui, who really was such a disappointment for 2 years, finally traded to the Rockies. And one of the reasons they were able to trade him is that Valentin assumed the role. He's not a second baseman by trade, but has done a nice job offensively and really has not hurt them at all with the glove. Nice play by Cairo. Can he make the play at first? He does. Takes a base hit away from Valentin. A sparkler by Miguel Cairo.
That's a makes-up-for play. The other one was pretty routine for Cairo, but this is exceptional. And the exceptional part is not just catching it, but rolling over, getting in position to make the throw. Right there. And just gets Valentin.
And the Yankees liked what they saw. Here is Julio Franco. Julio Franco is the last man in Major League Baseball active today that could say he faced Jim Cott.
That's right. Intentional walk, 1982. Listed at 47. I'll tell you, he's in great shape. And he can hit it off speed pitch. It might get the fastball by him. I don't think he'll see. I don't think he'd see a lot of change-ups. Do you, Al? I mean, at this age, that's the pitch he could probably catch up with more than any other.
You know, Kitty, he's pretty much the same as he was probably when he faced you. Anybody with a high bat like that, it wraps. He's been a low ball down out over the plate. If anybody's got a little bit of velocity that can stay up in the zone, had given him the most difficult time. And especially you'll see a lot of shattered bats, high, good plus fastballs on the inside part of the plate.
A lot of eyebrows were raised during the offseason when Omar Minaya signed a 47-year-old to a 2-year deal. But he's been great off the bench for Randolph. 11 hits as a pinch hitter, and that's tied with the Phillies' David DeLucci for the most in the National League. And there is Omar Minaya, the Mets GM. In fact, Franco is 11 for 30. That's 367 as a pinch hitter.
Well, I think that sign was more than just what Julio can do on the field as a 47-year-old ball player. He is a wonderful man, and I think he's very helpful in that clubhouse.
Swing and a miss, and Franco down on strike. So the Mets go down in order 1-2-3, and one of the reasons, this play by Miguel Cairo rolls over, gets up, fires, out. We go to the bottom of the second. We go to the bottom of the second inning here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees enjoying a 1-0 lead on the strength of Jason Giambi's solo home run in the first inning, his 24th home run of the year. First game of a 3-game set between these two teams in the second round of the Subway Series. The Mets come in with their first 3-game losing streak of the year, the last team in baseball to suffer a 3-game losing streak. Here's Posada. And there's a stroke.
Well, if there's anybody who knows what El Duque's throwing, that's Jorge Posada. And I always thought that the catcher, your old catcher, certainly he knew your game plan. And I always felt I had to change my my approach a little bit in some dumb way, I guess. But certainly Jorge knows release point and what to look for and patterns from El Duque.
And these two really had a volatile relationship.
Yeah. But it's kind of fun from a pitcher's standpoint because like in Posada's case, he's thinking, well, this is what's coming. And before the game, El Duque is probably saying, well, he thinks I'm going to do this, but I'll change my pattern.
It almost becomes an endless game, though, because if you think that he thinks that you think that he I mean, he keep going back and forth like tennis.
Pitcher only does it once.
Okay.
You can't do the hitter's thinking for him after that.
And the count 3-2. So that is the rule. You just try to think once.
Yeah, you don't want to do too much of the hitter's thinking for him. Just kind of have an idea what he might be anticipating.
The 3-2. Foul away.
I had a former teammate, Hall of Famer Harmon Killebrew, and he was known as a guy who could really hit the ball from the middle in. And so the first time I faced him, I knew he thought, well, he's not going to throw it there. So I did throw him a couple pitches in there just to kind of try to mess with his mind and say, he never thought you'd throw him in there. If you get by with him, you feel pretty good about it.
Serve to right. One away.
Good variety of off-speed pitches and even a little slower with this one. And there again, we mentioned in the pregame, if El Duque can get ahead with his fastball, you'll even get disciplined hitters like the Yankees to chase those curveballs that are out on the fringe of the strike zone.
Here's Bernie Williams. Now, Bernie was on fire during the last road trip, but he has really cooled down. He is 2 for his last 23. And that one is popped up. And Wright runs out of room. You wonder if at Bernie's age that an off day like yesterday's would benefit him more than other players. There's a strike. And maybe the fact because of the injuries and because he has been so effective and Joe Torre is almost obligated to play him every day because of that he will wear down a little bit quicker than he usually would. And the off day does pay off as he dunks that one into right center for a base hit.
Yeah, El Duque liked to have that one back. You saw Castro's target, wanted to backdoor it. And Bernie, another one of those veteran players. The older you get, the tougher it is to catch up with a fastball, and the easier it is to wait and hit that breaking ball. And that's what he hit right there.
Well, that's one matchup at first base where Bernie could feel very young. He's 10 years younger than Franco. Andy Phillips takes a pitch high. We joke about the fact we don't exactly know how old El Duque is. No one really does. But he is throwing 89 or 90, so whatever the chronological age is, he certainly is not finished. He can get people out. That could be 2. There's 1. And there's 2. So he gets Phillips to bang into a 6-4-3 double play. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the DP started by Reyes, nobody left on base. Why don't we take it to the third here at the stadium? Yankees 1, Mets nothing.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man. Battle hit the high fly ball is deep.
The New York Yankees, the most renowned sports franchise in the world, have won more championships than any other team in the history of sports. Come out to the stadium on Monday, July 17th, as the first 18,000 fans in attendance receive a Yankees visor courtesy of Canon. The 2006 New York Yankees. Pride, power, pinstripes.
The New York Yankees and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center proudly introduced the Yankees Universe T-shirts. Buy yours at Yankees.com or the Stadium Store at Yankee Stadium, and all net proceeds go to Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center.
Yankees Universe makes a world of difference to kids at Sloan Kettering.
Let's take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Online DSL, now at a great low price. Steve Traxel goes for the Mets, Randy Johnson for the Yankees. Now that game will start at 1:20. It's on Fox, but we want to remind you that immediately after the game is over, you switch back to Yes, because Kim Jones will do the post-game show, Bob Lorenz back in the studio, the whole deal. So remember, game on Fox, post-game on Yes. Here's Andy Chavez. And there's a strike. Also, Bobby Mercer will be a part of the action as well. So we have it covered like a blanket, and we want you to make sure to tune in. The Coors Light scoreboard, 1-0 Yankees, top of the third inning. On the Giambi home run. Grounded to first. Andy Phillips has been very solid at first base. One away. Nice order there. Was that wings? Oh, fries. Nice.
Michael's salivating.
Here's Ramon Castro. Really solid backup catcher. Does a good job defensively, can contribute with the bat. And Paul LaDuca, who's been bothered by a sore left thumb, gets a night off, half a night off behind the plate. He's the DH. And the pitch is outside 1-0. The count 1-1. Pedro Martinez, who got roughed up in his return to Boston. Checking out the game from the bench. He will not be in this series.
Boy, if there's ever a game that points out how mental this game is, and you watched a great pitcher like Pedro, who received such a great welcome from the crowds, but he was noticeably not on his game mentally when he started the other night. A little unsure of his control, and then the ball that was hit back at him that could have been a possible triple play ended up getting one, or at least a double play. And I think he even admitted afterwards that he was a little affected by the welcome and the situation in Boston. Understandable.
Well, he got a very big ovation, and Johnny Damon really got booed when he returned, and Damon was asked about Pedro's ovation. He goes, he wasn't wearing a Yankee uniform.
Exactly.
And Damon said that they should cheer Pedro for what he meant to the franchise. 3-2. Driven out to right field. Bernie Williams backs up. 2 outs. Hey, Sunday on Yes, don't miss an all-new episode of the Emmy-winning Yes's Ultimate Road Trip Season 2 challenges ahead. This week, Julio shines as the group faces off in a culinary showdown. Then, will the rain ruin Old Timers Day? Find out in an all-new episode of Yes's Ultimate Road Trip, Sunday at 7:30, only on Yes. Back to the top of the lineup, and Jose Reyes flied out to center on the first pitch in the first inning. Yankees in at the corners. Reyes, great speed. Pitches inside 1-0. Reyes, who's been red hot, was 1 for 13 in the series in Boston. But he is 33 for his last 70. That's 471. That tells you how hot he was. If you add that 1 for 13 in there or subtract it, he was over 500 for a long stretch of time. Mets have given up worrying about the fact that he's not a great on-base percentage guy. They think that will come as he gets older, but they don't want him to fixate on it. Just hit.
Oh, we've had 3 look-ins from Messina, 2 in this at-bat. Derek Jeter look-in at Larry Poncino. Derek Jeter very respectful of his comments for Jose Reyes. New York fans like to start comparing those two, but I think you got to let Jose play about 10 years and see where his position where his place in the game ends up.
Nice play by Cairo to the glove side. Guns down Reyes, and 2 sparklers for Cairo, who seems extra motivated after that error in the first inning. You want to keep Reyes off the bases, so this play is huge. A tough hop. He stayed with it, gets up, and gets the speedy Reyes to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Yankees lead 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning on the Coors Light scoreboard. 1-2-0 and zeros across. The breaking ball to Cabrera is outside 1-0. The experience advantage is certainly in El Duque's favor against the 21-year-old Cabrera, half the age of that guy, more than half the age. And how about that? Cabrera wins the experience battle by experiencing a single. Big turn at first, and he leads off the 3rd inning with a base hit.
Couple of misses with the curve, then got a fastball that Melky could handle. Now here's the situation. I don't know if the Yankees want to play for another run this early, but with Franco at first, all due respect for his age and how he's been able to hit at this, but he cannot move as well at first. So if you want to bunt it down the first baseline with nobody on, you probably got a sure base hit. And if you're going to try to move the runner over, that's the direction you'd bunt it here.
And if you're wondering why is Franco playing first, well, Delgado has a strained muscle in his side, so they are keeping him on the active list, but he probably not even available as a pinch hitter tonight. Cairo 2 for his last 16.
Not only Delgado, but Xavier Nady. I think they believe he's got a fracture in his wrist. So they have a real limited bench. Mets do.
Well, their bench then would pretty much be Eli Marrero and Chris Woodward. Does square to bunt, takes a pitch high, 1-0.
You know, Cairo can do so much with the bat. He's a great situational hit and run hitter. That's why, you know, if that is the feeling here, he certainly can get a feel, bring right in by faking the bunt, but having Cabrera at first with that big hole, Miguel Cairo, that's patented right through the second base hole between Franco and Valentin.
Runner goes, and they were trying to hit and run. Ironically enough, he was shooting for the right side, but Valentin stayed at home. It was Reyes who was covering.
And that may have been about pitch selection. Let's see what it was. Oh, it was a fastball on the outside. Of course, sometimes a breaking ball, you'll have the shortstop hold his ground.
Runner goes again, and that one is blooped into right center. Melky Cabrera stayed where he was and then heads back to first. He was almost faked out by Valentin, who made as if he was fielding the ball and flipping it to second because he wanted Cabrera to continue on to second, but Cabrera picked up the flight of the ball. You saw Valentin there. Here's Johnny Damon, grounded to second in the first. Off-speed pitch, way out in front, 0-1. Damon has great numbers against El Duque, 16 for 39. That's 411 with 1 home run. And the count 1-1.
Well, there's plenty of history here with Damon. And Hernandez is 421 lifetime, 16 for 38. You saw those 2 pitches that El Duque started him off with, 2 changeups missed and came back with another one.
And with his ground out in the first, 16 for 39. 1-1. Count 2-1. 1-3-1 Yankees. Zeros across for the Mets. They've been unable to touch on Mike Mussina. Starting to rain just a little bit here at Yankee Stadium.
I was a little concerned about that. It's been such a beautiful day, but Danny Cunningham ran out to say something to Tim McClellan, the crew chief, just before the game. They kind of looked like that's what they were talking about, maybe a brief shower passing through.
Missed outside in the count 3-1.
You know, a pitcher like El Duque who can do so much, and we're seeing it here with spotting his fastball. He's about 88 miles an hour, but he's changing speeds on his breaking ball. When you do have a significant history, and 38 batters is a significant with Damon, that's where the cat and mouse comes in, because both of them know what they've done in the past, and El Duque is able to change that pattern around.
Runner goes again. No throw. It was a walk. Pitch was high, so Damon works a walk. Cabrera reaches second, and it's runners on first and second with 1 out. Every time a Yankees pitcher strikes out an opposing batter, the Tri-State Hyundai dealers will make a donation to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund and the Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital of New York Presbyterian. If you would like to contribute along with the Tri-State Hyundai dealers, call 212-305-1420. Here's Derek Jeter. Jeter grounded to third. A nice play to the glove side by Wright. That was in the first inning. Missed outside, 1-0. Jeter this year, 362 with runners in scoring position. Hitting .330 overall. El Duque gets into trouble, and he really slows the game down. He wants to make every pitch perfect and be sure of where he's throwing it and what he's throwing. There's a fastball strike. That one 91 miles an hour. There's Rick Peterson. He's the Met pitching coach, and Rick always preaches a right-hander should stay on the first base side of the rubber, but you're not going to tell El Duque what to do. He has his own thoughts. He's right in the middle of the rubber.
Rick always carries that like a football coach in the sideline with the first 50 plays. He's got some set information for the pitchers on there.
That card he carries, he keeps score, and it's a real unique way of keeping score. He uses different colors for contact, strikes, and balls, and he does circles. But what he looks at, the most glaring thing he looks at is as the game gets deeper, is how many swing and misses. And you know, in his opinion, you know, that says a lot as to the pitcher's stuff on that given night if he's getting many swing and misses, especially if it's somebody who has the ability to strike people out.
Now, he's a very hands-on pitching coach, very active with all the pitchers. But as a veteran, Al, did you like to say, hey, leave me alone, I can do this myself?
No, because a lot of his stuff is sensible. You know, it might be at a different level than some people really care for, but I'm open for all information. Whether I use it or not is one thing.
1-2. 2-2.
But I certainly didn't have it all figured out. So somebody who works as hard as he does, and there you see Hernandez pitch count, 40 pitches, not a very good ball strike ratio. Could be a factor. His last start when he got tossed an inning in 230 through 53 pitches up in Toronto. Best thing these Yankee hitters can do is just be patient, wait it out, get their pitch, have him do things like this, get on the same. He's trying to get on the same page as Castro.
Why would it be? Because we saw it here in New York, Jim, that he has such problems with catchers. I mean, they never seem to go smoothly with El Duque.
Well, because he's got a lot of different pitches and a lot of different ways he wants to go. And sometimes a catcher could just, he sits back there and he knows what a pitcher wants to throw, what he's going to throw. With El Duque, it's different from game to game and inning to inning, probably.
Well, Duca gets to watch today. He's usually behind the plate. Grounded foul. Giambi, who homered in the first, is on deck. And Carlos Delgado sitting this one out. Not a heavy rain, but certainly steady.
It's Friday night.
Cabrera gets back to second. Damon gets back to first.
See, Michael, you said about, and I don't really know El Duque a whole lot other than just watching from afar, but I know what's happened with me. Like even there, stepping off and spinning around. Jose Reyes isn't doing anything. Valentin is just standing there. Sometimes as pitchers, you're kind of confused yourself in the sense of you're not exactly sure what you want. And sometimes you'll agree to the pitch, you come up and I didn't really want to throw that. Step off, and it seems like there's an uneasiness is like what's going on here. I'm not saying El Duque doesn't always know what he wants to throw, but when you have such an assortment, sometimes you're not exactly sure where you want to throw it.
Fouled away. El Duque like a surgeon out there. He's not just going to rear back and challenge you. He wants to outsmart you. He doesn't have that kind of stuff anymore that he can say, here, just hit it. Or try to hit it. The 2-2. Well, he wins the battle with Jeter. A high fly ball to center. Beltran's there. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Cabrera. The throw smartly goes to second. So the Yankees have runners on first and third now with 2 outs. Here's Giambi in the first inning. And he is one player that does not want the month of June to end. 11 home runs this month. David Wright has 10 home runs, so he's number 2 in the bigs. Since July 1st of last year, if you include the home run he hit in the first inning, so a full calendar year, Jason Giambi has now hit 51 home runs and driven in 128 runs. And his home run in the first inning moved him to within 1 of Jim Thome of the White Sox. And that's over 148 games, 51 and 128. Count 1-1. Right now, the Yankees are in their 77th game, so they're not even halfway. He's got 24 home runs. Fielded there by Valentin. El Duque covers, and he gets out of problems. So Franco ranged forward to his right, and he was not in the picture. No runs, a hit, and 2 men left. We have played 3 at the stadium. Yankees 1 and the Mets nothing.
On the 8-time Emmy Award-winning Yankeeography, The Portrait of Perfection, David Cohn.
He would try anything he could to get you out.
A perfect game for David Cohn.
Yankeeography, David Cohn. Premieres tonight after the Yankees postgame, only on Yes.
Time for the Aflac trivia question as we go to the top of the 4th. Since '97, who are the 4 pitchers who have started games for both the Yankees and the Mets? I can see one. And the pitch to LaDuca is outside 1-0. 1-3-1 Yanks. Zeros across for the Mets, along with Jim Cott and Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. We thank you for joining us on this Friday evening. Top of the 4th, 1-0 Yankees. LaDuca with a fly ball to left. Melky Cabrera is there. 1 out. Al gave you the stat in the scouting report, and it really is amazing. Mike Mussina has had at least 10 wins in each of the past 14 years. So one more win. He comes into this game at 9-3. One more win would make him the first pitcher in American League history to win 10 or more games in each of 15 seasons. It's amazing. He's tied with a couple of pitchers right now, and one of them happens to be Jim Cott. Jim did it from 62 to 75. Then Hooks Douse, Eddie Plank, and as I mentioned, Jim. So he's tied with those four, or those three. Four guys tied with 14 years of it.
Got to be awfully consistent and stay healthy. Can't have a year where you miss a lot of starts or miss the year outright.
You got to get a lot of starts, be healthy, and play for a good ball club.
Do you think there's any chance that Hooks Douse threw curveballs?
I think so. I think that's where he got his name.
222 and 182 was his record with the Tigers.
Well, Mussina didn't like that call from Poncino, the home plate umpire. And knowing Larry Poncino, this isn't the type of umpire where you turn around and walk around, because he'll show you even some more.
Well, the disturbing thing is, between innings, Mike Mussina walked off the mound toward the dugout, and Poncino actually walked down the foul line to meet him as if he were welcoming a confrontation. You hate to see that in an umpire. They have no stake in who wins or loses.
2-2. Strike three. Beltran down looking. Mussina looks sharp tonight.
3 2/3 of no-hit baseball. And this one right on the court. Good late movement. That's the one thing Ron Guidry talked with Bobby Mercer before the game tonight about, throwing more fastballs in the spring, build up a little arm strength, and then work on the changeup. In your off-speed pitches, I think you'd agree, Al, are only as good as the control of your fastball or what you have on your fastball.
Here's David Wright.
If you can't show a hitter like that you have a fastball that you can throw for a strike and he's got to be aware of, then your off-speed pitches aren't going to be that effective.
I don't care how hard you throw. Hitters have to honor the fact that you will throw fastballs in the zone. You'll throw fastballs in fastball counts. And even guys that are below the speed limit, they can still sneak an 85, 86 mile an hour fastball by a hitter with the assortment of off-speed pitches.
Count 1-1.
And if you look at Mussina's great games, and he's had many very good games this year, it's exactly that. He establishes his fastball, he throws strikes, he's got superior command, and it's his changeup. I think one of his main adjustments this year has been his ability to take off 20 miles an hour off his comfort fastball, which is about 88, 89 miles an hour. And he just kind of varied his grip a little bit, and he was able to take a little bit more off. And I think that little speed differentiation of him being able to be 88 to 68 as opposed to 88 to, say, 74 matters to major league hitters.
El Duque's ready to go. He's anticipating another no-hit inning for Mussina.
David Wright, 29 RBIs this month, and that leads the National League. Mike actually talking to himself out there on the mound. He blew a fastball by Wright to end the first inning, and Wright a little late on that one as well. 50 pitches for Mussina, 32 strikes. We're in the top of the fourth inning, 2 outs and nobody on. And the 2-2. Stop that. Well, the Mets did not help out the Yankees by getting swept by the Red Sox, but maybe a former Yankee, Joe Girardi, will. They're in the second inning in Florida, and the Marlins lead the Red Sox 3-0. Red Sox carry a 12-game winning streak into that weekend series. And the 2-2. Still 2-2.
It's one of those situations where you see him almost tripling up on the fastball because Wright's really not catching up with it. And the thinking there can be if you throw him something a little slower, he's going to be right on time. Unless you throw it real slow. As you said, he's had the ability to take an awful lot off his fastball.
7th pitch of this at bat. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, said the first base umpire, Jerry Davis. Posada will tag him out. And El Duque quickly out of the dugout to take the mound. 3 up, 3 down. Messina is retired 10 in a row. In fact, he's thrown a no-hitter over 4. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Yanks.
Hola fanáticos de los Yankees, no se olviden de sintonizar a los Yankees en español por el canal Yes, oprimiendo el botón SAP en su televisor.
Brought to you by Toyota, moving forward.
Time for the answer to our Aflac trivia question.
Aflac.
The question, since '97, who are the 4 pitchers who have started games for both the Yankees and the Mets? We're going to have you wait just a bit longer. Right after the pitch, we'll tell you. The pitch to A-Rod is inside 1-0. We know Al Leiter is one of them. El Duque, David Cone, and Kenny Rogers. 1-1. You were teammates with Kenny, right?
Yeah. A little bit in 99.
And you were teammates with David Cone for a couple of days. High fly ball left field. Cliff Floyd drifts back. 1 away. Al Leiter dealing for the Mets.
He's pumped.
Yeah.
And that was a spring training game. Now, is that the breaking ball?
Little curveball.
Yeah.
Georgie's a good fastball hitter.
Almost a 12-6 curve.
I can still throw that.
Today?
I threw it the other day in a little shoot.
Did you like pitching in these Subway Series
Yes.
games?
Yes, I enjoyed it very much.
Now, there are a lot of players that do not enjoy this because they think that there's enough pressure during the season and this just adds more pressure. 50 pitches for El Duque, 31 strikes. But it's hard to argue with the success of it. Interleague play has a higher average attendance around baseball than regular play.
Well, I never really figured that pressure thing if you allow it to enter. And I understand it's around because that's the nature of sports. You got to perform. You have to get it done. But once you get prepared and you do all of your pregame preparation, you get on the field right now, you wear your hat properly and you're looking down into the catcher in the zone. You already went over the scouting report. You know, whether you look up and see 56,000 people or not, I don't understand as you see buckets of rain coming down now.
And the wind is really whipping up as well. Danny Cunningham, who knows all as the Yankee head grounds crew member, is ready to spring into action. The 1-2. Strike 3. Posada down looking.
Boy, that's classic El Duque, that at bat right there. He threw Jorge an awful lot of curveballs, like you said, Al. Good fastball hitter, and then paints the inside corner. See, there's one that the hitter gives up on, thinks the umpire missed, but a late movement took it right across the corner.
Especially after all those curves, sliders he threw. The 3 previous pitches didn't go over 74 miles an hour.
Interesting, the whole buzz of baseball fans today was, wow, no rain delays tonight. It's a beautiful day. And it was.
Bernie fouls it away.
Well, if he could get through this at bat, and I'm not hoping for anything other than maybe these get the top of the 5th in, if it were to stay, it would be an official game.
Now, there is not heavy rain in the forecast all night, so this could just be passing through. That one's popped up. Right back, so is Reyes. And it drops in for a base hit. Bernie makes a big turn. He'll stop right there. Bernie's 2 for 2.
And you see the expression on Willie's face. I said, wait for Reyes to play 10 years and find his place in the game. And he will with it. But see, this is a ball that Derek Jeter's going to catch right there. That is a much easier play for the shortstop. And Reyes just kind of gives way. He's got to take charge on that one and get over. That's a much more difficult catch for Wright over the shoulder.
You think that the rain plays into that at all because you're looking up and the rain's going into your eyes?
Well, it might, but his whole approach. I mean, Reyes didn't really fly after the ball like he was going to catch it.
It is really coming down now. Pitch to Andy Phillips is high.
Well, the rain had some effect on there, but if you look at those flags out there whipping, that wind out there is swirling.
Now, the reason that they're not bringing the tarp on at this point, Jim told you earlier that Danny Cunningham was talking with Tim McClellan. Well, they have a pretty good idea when it's going to end, and if this is just a quick thunderstorm and it's going to pass through. If it's a long, drawn-out thing that they see on the radar, then the umpires would put the tarp on right now. Wind really whipping up, and it's going to be hard for the batters with all the papers blowing through their line of sight.
Playing field's starting to look like Candlestick Park in the old days. The papers flying all over. It almost looks like Tim is trying to wait till the inning gets completed. There's Tim McClellan, the crew chief. And you see he's glancing over at Danny Cunningham right now.
Runner goes, the 1-2. They had a hit and run on, and Phillips fouls it off. How tough is it for a pitcher in this weather? Looked like Danny Cunningham said cover it, but how tough is it for a pitcher in this weather with the ball being wet?
The balls are fine. You get it from the umpire. Oh, here's Tim McClellan calling out Danny now with the tarps. Really, the biggest problem for a pitcher is the footing on the mound. You get a lot of clay caked up on your feet, and it's difficult to land and slipping and sliding more than anything else.
Boy, we have seen so much rain in this area the last week and a half, and all the weather reports that you heard pretty much told you that this is going to be a wonderful holiday weekend, but starting off in somewhat of a dubious fashion as the rain really coming down here with 2 outs in the 4th inning. So the Yankees have a 1-0 lead, and how long the rain holds the game up will dictate whether or not El Duque comes out to pitch and Mike Messina comes out to pitch. They don't like to shut down veterans for that long and fire them up after that. So while we're waiting, you know what the deal is. We're going to send it back to our studios where Bob Lorenz, who certainly has had a lot of practice in this, will take the handoff. Bob? The bottom of the 4th inning, Yankees have a runner on first base. There's a 1-2 count on Andy Phillips, and you can see the grounds crew is getting the infield together. El Duque is warming up on the third base side, so he's going to come out and pitch. And as you saw just now, Ron Vallone is warming up in the Yankee bullpen. So incredibly, with a no-hitter, Mike Messina, after a rain delay of about an hour when game time resumes, is not going to pitch, which is, a lot of people are going to question that.
That is really a shocker, because you'd think, El Duque, we talked about his age, but he's going to go back out there. Now, usually, Al, I don't know about your experience, but during a rain delay, when you come back after it, you never really know how you feel until you go out and warm up. Sometimes your arm is looser, sometimes it's not. I was talking to Keith Hernandez, one of the Mets announcers, and in the '82 World Series, John Stupper pitched Game 6. I think the game lasted about 5 hours, and he pitched through 3 or 4 rain delays that went at least 40 minutes. But it appears that, I don't know if Joe Torre has made that decision and just said, look, we're not going to take any chances. We don't care if he's got a no-hitter. But I know from a personal standpoint, now you got multi-year contracts, so it's not quite as urgent. But you'd want to go to the man and say, hey, at least let me go out and throw, see how I feel.
Yeah, well, I'm a little different in the sense that not everybody actually said I was smart about a lot of things, but a couple things. I'm 3 outs away from a win, so I guess for those reasons I would like to try to stay out there. But look, we're not in the training room. We're not in Mussina's body. He did have some issue last year with arm problems, so maybe he did feel something enough for that layover. How long has been the layover?
It's going to be about an hour when they throw the first.
All right, so during that hour, he's probably in the training room. Steve Donahue or Gene Monahan, the trainers, might have given him a massage or rub again, and maybe he just felt something that just.
I gotta believe it was Joe Torre's decision. Said, look, we're going to look at the big picture, because you never know how your arm is going to. I mean, he's got 4 no-hit innings, so you never know how your arm is going to feel until you pick up a ball and throw it 60 feet.
Is there a set time, Jim, where if a rain delay went this amount of time, you say, you know what, I better not go back out?
I have never. Can't count the number. I don't know exactly how many, but my experience has been, let me go back out, and you warm up, and sometimes it feels like an 18-wheeler rolled over your arm, and you just can't get it loose. And then other times you go out there, and it's you've had a little bit of an hour delay, and you throw a few pitches, say, hey, my arm feels pretty good. But I never knew how it was going to feel until I at least went out there and threw the ball.
I think it all depends on the pitcher, obviously, and the style and how they feel. And clearly, either whether it was Joe or Mussina saying, I don't feel great, and get somebody warming up. But clearly, that's the decision.
Be pretty hard for me to say I don't feel great if I had a no-hitter going.
See, that
let's
was...
say you pitched a no-hitter.
Oh,
now 4 innings are in, and you pitch you got a no-hitter going, and there's a delay. What's your MO?
Oh, I'm coming out. I'll figure out a way to flip it up there. It's a 1-0 game in the Subway Series, and Mussina's having a great year. So there's no doubt about what I would do, but again, it's all different. Guys are different. How they prepare. Maybe this time off really sets things back for Mike.
Now, the thing that, it's a little unfair for us to do this, because as Al just said, we don't know what Mike Mussina's feeling. But the thing that makes it look bad is that the opposing pitcher is probably 71, 72 years old, and he's had the same length rain delay, and he's going to come out and pitch. And that's unfortunate for Mike, because people are going to say, well, how come El Duque could come out and you can't?
Because different pitchers are different.
That's true.
Look, Kitty threw, quick pitch, little sinker, and changed speeds, and I took every ounce of effort and energy to try to throw it as hard as I could. So, there was some guy. I'll tell you this. There was a rain delay before we started the game. My brother Mark, who played in the major leagues, he was pitching with the Phillies. I was with the Marlins. We both warmed up. We're hot. We're done. We come into the dugout, ready to start the game. It starts to rain. Tarps on the field. Game canceled. Leland decides to back me up a few days, and my brother, Terry Francona, was managing the Phillies at the time, went out the next day and pitched. And why it was a big deal to me and my family was because it's only happened, once or twice that brothers actually start against each other.
Now, did you try to sell, hey, let me pitch the next day?
Yes, and, Jim made the decision, said, no, I know your style, and I'm going to back you up a couple days.
Well, an interesting subplot, and let's be honest, in case you just joined us, Mike Mussina, you could never predict somebody's going to throw a no-hitter, but he was superb. He looked great out there throwing strikes, changing speeds, and the Mets looked overmatched. And now he's not going to come out for the top of the 5th inning, so not only does he not get a chance for the win, but the Yankees also are jeopardizing their chance for a win, because one of the weak spots of this team this year has been the bullpen, and now the bullpen is going to have to get 18 outs. So that's another thing to consider.
Well, in Mussina's last start, he went 3 2/3 of perfect ball against the Marlins.
Well, that's the other thing with Mike is that, tonight he's so economical. He just breezed through. He hadn't had a lot of stressful innings, so it really is a shock. But I would have to say it's all tied into Joe Torre will say we're looking at the big picture. We got it's not even the All-Star break. We're going to take no chances, even if he's got a no-hitter going.
Well, we could maybe put this little angle on it too. By him only throwing 53 pitches, does he come back sooner than 5 days? And give him 2 starts as opposed to 1 more start before the All-Star break.
Well, in case you just joined us and you're wondering, well, how did the Yankees have a 1-0 lead? Well, you know, through the magic of tape, we're going to show you how they have a 1-0 lead. Jason Giambi, his 11th home run of the month of June, his 24th home run of the year. He's pulled to within 1 of Jim Thome for the American League lead, and the Yankees have held on to that 1-0 lead. Now, here's the situation. Bernie Williams dropped a single just over the head of David Wright and Jose Reyes with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Bernie's now 2 for 2. Andy Phillips tried a hit and run, fouled it off, and the count is 1-2 on Andy. So we're ready for baseball. How about that? Andy, in the 2nd inning, wrapped into a 6-4-3 double play. Amazing, about an hour rain delay. Doesn't look as if anybody has left the ballpark.
Subway Series, Mike. Big tickets.
And the 1-2. Foul back. The official rain delay, 1 hour and 3 minutes. 1:03. Bernie leads off first. And he goes. Pitch is outside, a stolen base for Bernie Williams. Picked the right pitch on which to steal.
Yeah, no chance for Castro. You see, as soon as El Duque picks up his leg, Bernie's on his way, doesn't even have to slide.
And the 2-2. Line drive, base hit to left field. Charging is Floyd, rounding 3rd and heading home Bernie Williams. Here's the throw, cut off by Wright. An RBI single by Andy Phillips, and the Yankees manufacture a run. They lead 2-0.
Well, Andy Phillips reaches down on this slider, stays with it. I'll tell you, he's been in the lineup more often, and he's been hot. Seeing that batting average creep up to 290, he's getting a lot of at-bats, and he's been doing an awful lot of that. That stolen base putting Bernie in running in scoring position there with a guy who's able to handle the bat like Andy Phillips right now.
Here's Melky Cabrera, single in the 3rd inning against El Duque. And that's driven down the right field line. Fair ball, it's trouble. It's a foul ball. Not much room down there, but it found foul territory.
About 10 feet foul, and it looked like a breaking ball. Last couple breaking balls. Yeah, nice grab. Last couple breaking balls by El Duque. Left a little high, and that's probably the one thing after a long delay it would take you a little longer to get the feel of.
They chase back Phillips. Buzzes him inside.
About feel right before this game started, this is a fastball up and in on Melky. Smell a little rawhide. He was warming. He didn't go down there with the bullpen.
He warmed up right on flat ground.
Warmed up on flat ground in front of the dugout. You don't see that too often in this day and age.
Doesn't take long to warm up a Rolls Royce.
The 1-1. Grounded softly to Valentin. Over to Franco, and that will do it. Here in the 4th, a long 4th with an hour and 3 minute rain delay. Yankees score a run on 2 hits. We go to the 5th, 2-0 Yanks.
I'm Ron Bob Lorenz back in our YES Studios with this Nissan update. Let's check the Red Sox and Marlins. Top of the 6th, 5-zip Marlins. And after Dontrelle Willis balked runners to second and third, Manny comes up with a base hit to right. Those 2 runs score, so it's now 5-2. The D train has struck out 6 Red Sox. They're headed to the bottom of the 6th. Michael?
Thank you, Bob. Dontrelle Willis was so impressive against Mike Messina his last time out. Lost that game 2-1, so pitching a pretty good game against the Red Sox right now, trying to snap their 12-game winning streak. Time for the call to the bullpen, brought to you by the McDonald's Dollar Menu. And Joe Torre does call to the bullpen, and he calls on Ron Vallone.
There's Vallone's record. Like most of the relievers that come out of the pen, one number he'd like to improve on, most relievers other than Mariano, is the base on balls.
And Cliff Floyd leads off, and the pitch is inside 1-0. On the Chevy scoreboard, it's 2-0 Yankees, 2-5-1 for the Yanks, and Mike Messina over 4 innings was pitching a no-hitter, and only an E4 kept him from being perfect over 4. Broken bat, fly ball, right field. Bernie Williams, 1 away.
Al, I think the comment you made may have factored into it. You're looking at the All-Star break, and you're saying if Messina pitches tonight, he's going to come back again Wednesday, which would probably be his last start. Maybe this way they'll fit in 2 starts. So from a team standpoint, you'd think that maybe Joe Torre just took the ball out of his hands, and this is what we're going to do. Because you'd be fighting and scratching to get back out there from an individual standpoint.
Here's Valentin. And the count 1-0.
Well, they get Valentin over to the right side, which is he didn't compile those numbers right there as a right-hand hitter. He's a switch hitter, but he is predominantly a left-hand hitter.
And the count 2-0. To Valentin. First game of a 3-game Subway Series. Julio Franco on deck. Right down the middle, 3-1.
It is amazing how quickly this field gets in playable condition. Once it stops raining with this new field, boy, it just drains, and you hardly see water kick up when the ball's hit.
And Valentin walks. First walk issued by Yankee pitching.
First baseman, Julio Franco.
Here's Franco. He struck out in the 2nd inning against Mike Messina. And Franco in a little bit of a slump, 2 for his last 15. It almost seems as if Franco is defying Father Time, because pitchers that, or should I say, ball players that are in their 40s usually are pitchers, not position players. And the fact that he's an important player on this Met team at the age of 47 is really an incredible thing. And he said he intends to play until he's 50. He's going to be 48 in August, but he wants to play when he's 50.
Good for him. Hope he does. Years ago, it was like if you got in your mid-30s, everybody figured, well, that's the end of a career for a baseball player. But with improved conditioning, where players keep themselves in shape the year round, now they extend their careers much longer than that. In fact, tonight, Dave Winfield threw out the first pitch. And I think Dave, that was one of the most incredible feats in his career. He sat out a whole year with back surgery, and at age 39 came back and was productive. There he is, throwing out the first pitch before tonight's game.
And he could have pitched in the big leagues, the prevailing thought was, because at the University of Minnesota, he pitched, he played basketball, he was drafted in baseball, basketball, and football. Never spent a day in the minor leagues. Looked like he makes a good choice, though, playing the outfield. Got to the Hall of Fame. Franco on April 20th became the oldest player in big league history to hit a home run. He was 47 years old, 240 days. There's Winnie.
Mentioning how old Franco is, he kind of got ripped a little after a year against the White Sox bat in 319. He ended up going to Japan. And then came back and played for Cleveland, went back to Japan, went to Mexico, went to Korea, back to Mexico. He's got over 2,500 hits. You wonder, the whole 3,000 hit Hall of Fame career.
It'd be tough to get there. He's just not an everyday player anymore. But Omar Minaya saw enough in him, and Al mentioned this before, probably a lot of clubhouse influence as well. Gave him a 2-year deal. That's the only way that Franco would leave the Braves. Braves wanted him back, but they wanted to sign him to a 1-year deal. Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Throw to second. In time. Valentin on a slow track. Not making up much ground, so a strike him out, throw him out, double play. It's an official game. No runs, no hits, no errors, and because of the caught stealing, nobody left on base. We're halfway through. Yankees 2, and the Mets nothing. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Sony Bravia LCD TV, the official HD TV of the Yankees. Bottom of the 5th inning. 2-0 Yankees, and Miguel Cairo will lead off. It'll be 9-1-2 in the Yankee order against El Duque. Chevy scoreboard 2-5-1 and zeros across. Pitch is high, 1-0. El Duque has thrown 67 pitches. Grounded to short, Reyes. 1 away. Want to remind everybody, tomorrow afternoon you turn back to Yes after the final out of the Yankees-Mets game on Fox for the Nissan postgame. You join Bob Lorenz, Bobby Mercer, David Justice, and Kimberly Jones for detailed analysis of the game, interviews with players, plus scores and highlights from around baseball. The Nissan postgame tomorrow after the Yankees-Mets game, only on Yes. Pitch is outside to Damon, 1-0. Slap the other way, foul. Mets pitching staff, for the most part, you talk about their 3, 4, and 5 starters. The Mets pitching staff has compiled an impressive 3.95 ERA, which is second in the National League to San Diego. The Padres are 3.89. The best ERA in baseball belongs to the Detroit Tigers at 3.45. 72 pitches for El Duque, 45 strikes, and the Mets bullpen is the #1 bullpen ERA-wise in the major leagues with a 3.22 ERA. 2-2. Foul back.
Said the other day when Dontrell Willis is pitching, who's cranking up a good one against the Red Sox tonight, that would be a duel worth buying a ticket for, to see Dontrell and El Duque, 2 pitchers with style.
High fly ball right field. Andy Chavez will run out of room. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Hat from the Cuban national team. (3-2). Again foul back, making El Duque work. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Bottom of the 5th inning, 2-0 Yanks. The 3-2 again slapped away. And Damon likes to do this. In reviewing his first half with the Yankees, he said, I really would like to have more long pitch at-bats and walk more. He's had a very good first season with the Yankees. But this is a perfect at-bat for a leadoff man. You wear out the pitcher, and you give all the other hitters another long look at his stuff. Strike 3, Damon down looking. So a long at bat won by El Duque.
Threw him a little of everything. Couple slow curves, fouled off some tough pitches, and then that, I mean, that's just a perfect pitch location-wise. It's another one of those that looks like it's inside and tails back across the inside corner.
Here's Derek Jeter. Jeter's 0 for 2, grounded to third and flied to center. Count 0-1. That got a piece of Larry Poncino. And Castro will go out and talk with El Duque, give Poncino some time to walk it off. Some of the retired numbers out left center field. The Mets are one team that doesn't have to go out there because they've been at Yankee Stadium plenty of times. But you see some of the teams coming in interleague play, and that's the first thing some of the young players do.
I guess they got enough room out there for a couple more, because certainly number 2 and number 51 will probably be out there.
Probably number 6 too.
Yeah.
Inside outed the other way, and a fair ball down the right field line. Andy Chavez fields, and he holds Derek Jeter to a single.
Nice play by Chavez in the corner, and he's come at Derek with quite a few fastballs. That's one, fouled it off. Missed with that one. Now it looks like he's going to triple up. Yeah, another one. I think he may have wanted that down and away, but he threw 3 consecutive fastballs, and that's a patented Derek Jeter hit. Look where Chavez is right now, and he gets down in the corner and plays what oftentimes would be a double and holds Derek to a single. Nice play.
Here's Giambi. Home run in the first inning. And popped up shallow right center, coming on Beltran, and he makes the play for the final out of the 5th. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We have played 5 here at Yankee Stadium. An hour and 3-minute rain delay in the middle. As we go to the 6th, it's 2-0 Yanks. Well, the end of the top of the 5th inning for the Mets. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Let's take a look at the low jack caught stealing.
Well, the fastball to Franco for the strikeout, and Valentin out by plenty. Okay, between Posada and Stinnett, the Yankee catchers have got to be pretty much near the top in percentage of throwing out base runners, base stealers, potential base stealers.
Pitch to Chavez is foul back. Chavez has been a good player coming off the bench for the Mets. He gives them speed. A pesky bat. Does a good job in the outfield. And the Mets have certainly had their share of injuries in the outfield. Not to the extent of the Yankees, but they've lost Xavier Nady, Cliff Floyd for extended periods of time.
Boy, sometimes you can pitch out of that bullpen and go a half a season without getting decisions. If you're a middleman, Ron Vallone's got a chance to pick up another win. He got the win on Wednesday afternoon.
And the 0-2. Missed outside, 1-2.
Well, Wednesday afternoon, he didn't pitch nearly as much as he's going to do here, so not quite the possible vulture win.
And when he came in on Wednesday, he walked the batter, and then Jeff Francoeur hit a screaming line drive to Derek Jeter. So he just happened to be the guy that was in the game when A-Rod hit the 2-run home run. More a victory of circumstance than excellence. And it's starting to rain again here at the stadium. And the 1-2. Slice toward left field. Melky Cabrera will play it on a hop. Leadoff single by Chavez, and he can run.
Nice at bat. Fouled off a couple tough pitches. Got a high fastball and got on top of it. Hit it the other way. A lot of times left-hand hitters just hit lazy fly balls to left on that pitch.
And Chavez jumps out to a big lead at first. Balone goes right after him. Now, as a left-hander, Al, since you could see the guy leading, do you ever throw over there on your own, or do you wait for the sign from the catcher?
Oh, absolutely. You could look him in the eye and get a feel as to whether he's going to run or not.
Now, is your gauge the same if you look at that? For years, the Yankees didn't have that cutout around first base, but I always thought when a runner got both feet beyond that little semicircle cutout line, that was a base stealer's lead.
Well, but it also showed sometimes that it's a one-way lead, where if they got so far out, you knew they were going to just bait you to go back. It was basically, I'm going way out, I want you to throw over. And then conversely, especially a guy like Chavez, who can run, he's had 32 stolen bases, 21 stolen bases in the major leagues. He's definitely a base stealer. They might shorten up a little bit and go on first move. If they can't pick anything up from the left-hander, I've always felt a good base runner, they usually just go on first move anyway and just guess.
That was a slide step by Balone, hardly lifted his leg.
And what Al's talking about by first move, I think Lou Brock probably made this famous, maybe Maury Wills, but as soon as Balone will pick up his front foot, if he goes on first movement, he'll just head towards second and gamble that Andy Phillips can't catch the ball and throw him out.
But now, all like Balone did on that last pitch, shows a quick little step. Now he can't go first move because he has to think that Balone might do this quick step again. For me, left-handed pitchers, the best way to keep a base runner close is to just vary your time. Unless you got an Andy Pettitte kind of leg kick to where you can freeze a guy and still throw to first, which very few guys can do that. Vary your times, meaning come up, set, count. 1 without, 4 seconds, go home. Next time, count 1 second, go.
Another slide step by Balone. Now, when you slide step, how much does that take away from the quality of your pitch?
I really didn't like slide stepping, but I had managers say, look, you do it all, and I won't call it. And if you do it, then I realize that you're showing your whole package. There's a slide step. I felt as though it would quicken my delivery enough to where possibly I could leave pitches up. But in order to show it, you could pick a spot in a count where you just throw a fastball away and kind of waste it just to show them that you have it.
That was not the slide step, and that's a strike. The count 2-2.
And I say that because I did not have a good move, but when I varied my times and leg kicks and quickened up a few times, you could freeze a runner.
How much did you envy a guy like Andy Pettitte's move?
Almost bait a runner to go, or even just to have him get out there. Like, this is a pretty good lead right there.
Castro swings and misses. 1 away.
Looks like Ron Valone's best fastball. And in a good spot. A little above the belt, tough to catch up with.
Here's Jose Reyes.
You know, a lot of this stuff, too, frustrates hitters to where, I think you might have mentioned this, Kitty, where you're throwing over, stepping off, slide step, quick step. You know, the hitters kind of get a little impatient, too. And you could do a real quick step home and surprise the hitter once in a while after them seeing you throw over so often.
Larry Boa constantly getting the infielders' attention, and what he's telling Andy Phillips is beware, holding him on the bag right there. Reyes can push that with his speed. He can push a bunt down to the first base side and pick up a base hit.
2-0 Yankees lead, top of the 6th. A speed combination for the Mets. Chavez at first and Reyes at the plate. Now, what's the danger, guys, of taking too much of your attention away from the hitter?
Your inability to throw strikes.
If you're that type of pitcher that can't handle this. But, you know, Ron Valor's been pitching a long time, and if he's got a problem with it, most of these he's doing on his own. He's seeing the runner, and he could throw over on his own. He's not getting it.
Got him.
Got him.
They kept going and going, and they finally got him.
Well, it was a perfect combination by Valone. He'd given him a couple high leg kicks. That was a little mini kick, and it froze Chavez, and he got him easy. You can see that first move once he did that.
Like he was going.
Grounded foul.
He had just barely picked that front foot up. And probably gave the base runner the feeling he was going to slide step and go home.
That has to be an awful feeling. And the 1-1. High pop-up. Shallow left center. Jeter backpedals. Coming in is Damon, and he makes the play precariously for the final out of the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and because of the pickoff, nobody left on base. We played 5.5 here at the stadium. It's the Yankees 2 and the Mets nothing. And now, here's a word from Fox News Channel. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Yankees lead the Mets 2-0. Now, you might hear in the background as we move along in this game, it sounds like a different voice over the public address system, and that's because it is. Bob Shepard started the game, but had to go to the bullpen. He's been battling laryngitis, so Mr. Shepard headed home, and Rick Cerrone, the Yankees media relations director, is filling in the pinch. A-Rod leads off against El Duque. Popped up. First base side. Franco runs out of room, as does Castro. What a great shot from the left field upper deck. And now that guy's going to ruin it by standing in front of the camera.
You know, Alex's last at bat, he hit the game winner by turning on an inside fastball from Sosa, and actually the one off El Duque, he just missed that high fly to left, so he's much more conscious of that.
Foul back to the screen, 0-2.
And that tells me that in dugout terms, the hitters will say you got to cheat on that fastball a little bit, get out early and show the pitcher that you could pull the ball. Fight that pitch off or not let it beat you.
Did he hold up? Yes, he did.
Alex had good success, has good success against El Duque. Of his 7, he's 7 for 25 for 280 until these last 2 at bats. It went down a little bit, but 3 home runs.
Popped up. shallow right, coming in Endy Chavez. And the cheers of the walk-off home run now turning to boos because the guy's 0 for 3. So they've really given him a lot of slack. Samsung's Four Seasons of Hope and Joe Torre have teamed up to make a difference in the community. For every Yankees home run hit at home this year, Samsung's going to donate $1,000 to Joe Torre's Safe at Home Foundation to help end the cycle of domestic violence. You can join the team and support Samsung's Home Run for Kids by visiting fourseasonsofhope.com or joetorre.org, because a little hope can make a big difference. Pitch outside to Jorge Posada, 1-0. Yankees will try to mix and match with their bullpen as Scott Proctor beginning to warm. Malone has given them 2 shutout innings. Count 1-1. Posada a little too quick on the slider. Driven into right center field. That is going to be trouble. It splits the outfielders and it goes to the wall. And Posada will jog into second with a double.
Duque trying to tease him with some slow curves and said, well, I'll try to sneak a fastball by him, but he did not get it in. He threw it down the center and Jorge centered it.
Here's Bernie Williams against El Duque. El Duque with 89 pitches, 58 strikes. Some stirring in the Met bullpen right now. And the pitch to Bernie is a strike. Bernie's 2 for 2 tonight. Single to right center and a bloop single to left. Stole a base and scored a run. And the count 1-1. They're in the 7th inning in Florida, and the Marlins lead the Red Sox 5-2. Red Sox with a 12-game winning streak, and also the Red Sox have played 16 straight errorless games, which is a major league record. And that's the difference with this Red Sox team than teams in the past. This team is built more around defense than just overwhelming teams offensively. One-two. Took something off that pitch. Bernie way out in front, 2 away.
Couple hooks. He did get the fastball into Bernie, and now comes back with another one. That had a little more down break. He not only throws them at different speeds, some of them will break a little more to the side, some will break down. So his curveball oftentimes becomes 2 or 3 different pitches.
Two-way, runner on second. Here's Andy Phillips. He's 1 for 2. He drove in a run last time up with a single to left. High fly ball, left field. Floyd will put it away, and that will do it here in the 6th. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the 7th inning at the stadium. Yankees 2 and the Mets nothing. Hey fans, get a second chance to see the latest game with WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore. It's only on Yes. Tune in every night or the next morning at 9 for the big hits and great plays another time around. Don't miss WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore, only on Yes. IO Digital Cable scoreboard shows the Yankees leading 2-0. The Mets just one hit against two Yankee pitchers. Mike Mussina went 4 innings, then a rain delay necessitated Ron Vallone coming in for 2, and now Scott Proctor will take over to pitch the 7th.
49 innings, less than a hit per inning. Respectable earned run average. Scott really effective early in the year. He's I think he still pitched more innings than any American League reliever. And Joe trying to just fit it together. Vallone for a couple, probably Proctor for one. Farnsworth threw 2/3 of an inning yesterday.
And a day off in between.
Wednesday, that's right, 2/3. So everybody available down there.
Yeah, Proctor leads all of American League relief pitchers with 49 innings.
Here's LaDuca. It'll be LaDuca, Beltran, and Wright. 2, 3, and 4 in the Met order. And the pitch outside, 1-0. Proctor was going to be the loser if not for Alex Rodriguez on Wednesday. He gave up that home run to Marcus Giles in the top of the 12th inning. But A-Rod bailed him out. Grounded to second. Cairo. 1 away. Here's Beltran. He is 0 for 2. Reached on an E4 in the first and struck out looking against Mussina in the 4th. Now the rain delay in taking Mussina out after 4 innings will have an impact on the Yankees because they don't have a day off until the All-Star break. So after this 3-game set, a 4-game set in Cleveland, and then 3 games in Tampa Bay to finish off the first half, and right now you're in the middle of getting 18 outs from your bullpen. Which would put more pressure on Randy Johnson to give them a long outing tomorrow. High fly ball down the left field line. Melky Cabrera in the corner makes the play for the 2nd out. That ball came back on him. That's why he has that smile on his face.
Well, early in the game, the wind was swirling, but evidently there's still some effect. He plays it right. He looks at the wall, get there first, and then he's got time to come back and catch it in fair territory.
Melky's done a real nice job out there.
Yeah, his reads, because of the size of left field at Yankee Stadium, you got to read that ball, get a good jump on it.
And the pitch to David Wright is a strike. Wright struck out twice against Mussina, and now Jorge Posada is calling out Joe Torre and Gene Monahan. He saw something he didn't like from Scott Proctor.
Well, if radar guns mean anything, Scott's usually a high 90 guy. The fastballs were 91, 92. He got outs, but it wasn't his power fastball. Now, did he do something to his arm or his leg?
Now, that last fastball was 97. So maybe he tried to do too much. But he had been, as Jim was just telling you, 90-91 for the first 2 batters, and then he cranked it up to that. You don't know if the radar gun's right, but on that one it was 97. I think I just read his lips. He said, I want to finish this job.
Well, it probably helps the Met pitchers a little bit right now because Willie Randolph and Rick Peterson had a long conversation between innings. We're going to get a look at that last pitch. I didn't see anything there, but Posada did. But anyway, it looked like they were going to allow El Duque to go out the next inning, and then suddenly with 2 out, they've gotten 2 pitchers up, so they'll have a little time to get ready.
Popped up and out of play. Mike Myers up in the bullpen. Cliff Floyd's on deck. And the 0-2. He blew it right by him. 97 upstairs. And David Wright has the hat trick. He has struck out 3 straight times. So Scott Proctor said he wanted to finish the job, and he did as he retires the Mets in order 1-2-3. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees lead the Mets 2-0, and everybody here at the stadium stands to honor America as we will listen to God Bless America.
Hi, everyone. Bob Lorenz back in our Yes Studios with the Tri-State Quality Ford update. The Tigers, oh, what a play here. Bottom of the 8th, 7-6. They're hanging on, 2 outs. Tying run aboard, but Curtis Granderson robs Ronnie Paulino. So how key was that? Well, Detroit just closed the door on them. They won at 7-6. They're 55-25. That's the best record in baseball. Meantime, Florida leads the Red Sox 5-2 right now, and Toronto beat the Phillies 8-1. Another update coming up in just a bit, but now back to the stadium.
Thank you, Bob. In the bottom of the 7th inning on the IO Digital Cable scoreboard, it's 2-0 Yankees. The Mets have been held to 1 hit over 7 innings by 3 different Yankee pitchers. And El Duque, I guess, politicked his way into staying in the game. So Willie Randolph is staying with the veteran right-hander, and he will start the bottom of the 7th inning. He's thrown 94 pitches so far, El Duque has. And he's going to face Melky Cabrera. And the breaking ball is a strike.
They count El Duque's pitches on the scoreboard here as they do in most stadiums these days, but I wonder if the Mets do. I don't think it makes any difference to him. He was so accustomed to pitching complete games.
He once told me, he said, you didn't look to a bullpen in Cuba. He said it didn't exist. You had to finish the game. It didn't matter how many pitches you threw.
Well, and that really teaches you how to pitch, because now when you have to face these guys a 3rd and 4th time, you know, you learn how to pitch in different patterns and learn how to finish off a ball game.
Popped up. Going to be a tough play. Reyes back. Makes a nice play as he got a good jump and hauled it in.
Yeah, he took charge on this one. The one that resulted in a second Yankee run. He got a little bit of a slow start, gave way to David Wright, and he makes a nice running grab on that one.
Well, as far as pitch counts, you know, the hour rain delay obviously affects anybody, but I felt as you get a little older and your career's closer to the end than the beginning, you know, you could throw those pitch counts out. You know, it's about this game, this opportunity of winning a major league game in this venue. You know, you're really not saving it for anything. You're not holding back for, you know, next year or the year after. I'm not saying El Duque's finished by any means, but you get closer in age to realizing that it could be the end of your career. You don't worry about pain and sorenesses as much as you did when you were younger.
That's interesting because, and you know, I see your point, but you'd almost think the logic would be, well, you know, the guy's a little older. He can't quite throw as many pitches. If you're 22, you leave him out there. But the thinking is just the opposite. They protect the young pitchers, and the old veterans, they say, I'll let it go. It'd be kind of nice if they just throw it out with all of them. It could make it easier on managers.
Kyle Farnsworth will pitch the 8th inning for the Yankees. The 3-2. High fly ball, deep right center, giving Chase Chavez taking a zigzag route, and he hauls it in for the second out.
There's the route Michael's talking about, and catches it over his shoulder. Outfielders see the ball much better when they play it to the side. El Duque appreciates it. Boy, he is into this game, and if you're a New York fan, you got to be happy for the way he's pitched tonight, because he has pitched a lot of big games on this mound, and not for the Mets, but for the Yankees.
Damon is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight.
We've seen that pitch a lot. Damon, Posada, and that's almost by design. El Duque, slings that curveball in there at a lefty. It looks good, and the only thing they can do with it is pull it foul.
Grounded to short. Reyes. And El Duque has thrown 109 pitches, and he works a 1-2-3 7th inning. We take it to the 8th here at the stadium. It's the Yankees 2 and the Mets nothing. That little fan, it spells out "Go Yankees" as it goes around. Pretty cool. Time for the Mets in-game box score, sponsored by your Tri-State Lincoln and Mercury dealer. There's just one hit there. That's it, just one hit. That hit by Endy Chavez against Ron Vallone. There's been one walk, and the Yankee pitching has been great. The last time the Mets were held to one hit over the course of an entire game, June 16th of 2003, Dontrell Willis did it. And the last time a Yankee had a one-hitter, Ted Lilly, on April 27th, 2002 at Seattle. Bubba Crosby takes over in right field as the Yankees tighten up the defense, and Kyle Farnsworth takes over on the mound.
A lot of strikeouts and a lot of base runners. I think probably more than anything, Kyle Farnsworth, he'd like to get the ball to Mo, would like to just have a clean inning. It seems like it's been quite a while since he's had a 1-2-3 inning.
And there's a strike. There's no knock on the bullpen so far tonight. 3 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit and 1 walk. Floyd in his first game out the DL fouled out to Posada. That's the 2F, and then he flied out to right. That's the F9 in the 5th. Floyd 3 for 10 lifetime against Farnsworth. El Duque is just looking for some runs. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and he's held the Yankees to just 2 runs over 7 innings.
Well, I know if the Mets lose, he's not going to feel good about losing, but he's got to feel good, coming off the last start where he didn't really have his stuff together, and Willie Randolph had said, he just hasn't had command of that fastball like we've seen him in past times. But that was vintage El Duque tonight. 7 innings, 2 runs, good enough to win most games. And actually, it looked like his stuff got better after the rain delay. Curve was sharper.
And the count 1-2 as Floyd swings over the slider. Right in on the hands and fouled it back. There was some trepidation about calling up Floyd when we see Duaner Sanchez warming, because in his final bat yesterday for the Brooklyn Cyclones, he swung through 3 fastballs, so his timing wasn't quite there. But Willie Randolph said he was going to leave it up to Floyd. If Floyd felt that he was ready, then he would activate him. So for some Brooklyn to the Bronx, 2-2. That one registered 99 on the radar gun. Grounded to short. Jeter. 1 away. With a scoreboard update, we throw it back to Bob Lorenz in our studios. Bob?
All right, Michael, thank you. Top of the 9th in South Florida. Man aboard for David Ortiz. deep, long, and caught by Jeremy Hermida at the wall. That's the final out. Marlins win it 5-2 over the Red Sox and end Boston's 12-game winning streak. Back to Michael now.
Thank you, Bob. So if the Yankees can hold on, then they will cut the Red Sox lead to 3, and the Red Sox winning streak had to end at some point. It finally ends at 12. Valentin swings and misses. Boy, Joe Girardi really has that team playing well. And the count 1-1. With that victory, the Marlins are 35-41.
Really is remarkable after that start. They were,
I think since May 22nd, they have the best record in baseball. High pop-up. First base side. Phillips is there. 2 down. So 2 away for Farnsworth, and that'll bring up Julio Franco. Franco 3 for 5 lifetime against Farnsworth. Top of the 8th. Yankees 2 and the Mets nothing. Franco has struck out twice in this game, once against Messina, once against Vallone.
That should be a good matchup for Kyle if he can throw strikes. We've talked about how as great a hitter as Julio Franco has been over the years. You can imagine at his age, a little tough to catch up with that heater unless you really cheat and get the bat out front.
They were teammates last year with the Atlanta Braves. Kyle picked up 16 saves for the Braves after coming over from Detroit. I used to throw this hard before you hurt your arm. Is there?
Still does. You should have seen him yesterday in the playground.
I've never thrown this hard, Mike.
You threw 98 when you got drafted. Grounded to short. And that'll do it. So a nice clean inning for Kyle Farnsworth, and he has been waiting for that. So El Duque knows that unless the Mets rally in the 9th inning, he's going to get a loss. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 2-0 Yanks. Time to take a look at the Yankees in-game box score, sponsored by your Tri-State Lincoln and Mercury dealer. The Yankees picked up 7 hits against El Duque. Jeter won. Giambi that home run. Posada had a double. Bernie Williams 2 for 3, 2 singles, a stolen base, which resulted in Andy Phillips' RBI single. Melky Cabrera picked up a hit, and then Miguel Cairo was held hitless over 3 at-bats. So all of that adds up to 2 runs for the Yankees. The home run by Giambi, the RBI by Phillips, and they'll try to make that hold up, and they'll try to add to it right now. In the bottom of the 8th inning, they'll have to do it against a new Met pitcher, Juaner Sanchez. He has been a godsend for the Met bullpen. Acquired in a trade from the Dodgers, and Sanchez has been everything they could hope. 4-0, way less than a hit per inning, and a 2.74 ERA. He pitched 1 inning in Boston on the 27th. And on June 23rd, pitching in Toronto, he felt discomfort in his right shoulder, and it kind of emanated from the neck, and the Mets were very nervous. They sent him back to New York to get an MRI on his right arm, and it was really just a pinched nerve in the neck. Ron Guidry congratulating Farnsworth after a strong 8th. And there's a strike to Jeter.
Yeah, he mentioned Kyle's desire as any pitcher just to have a 1-2-3 inning out of 36 innings. That was his 9th 1-2-3 inning. So And it's been a while. So sometimes, you know, an inning like that, get a pitcher going in the right direction.
Slice past the diving Franco and up against the tarp. It's going to kick out to right field. Jeter will go to second. He'll get himself a leadoff double. Jeter's 2 for 4.
Took an El Duque fastball that way earlier in the game. And again, Derek seeing a lot of fastballs tonight. Takes him the other way, which he usually does. Nice effort by Franco, but that ball takes an unusual carom, and by the time Chavez tracks it down, Derek has a double.
Willie Randolph hoping his team could snap a 3-game losing streak. Watching the Yankees threatening here in the 8th inning. Here's Giambi. He homered in the first. Grounded to second with El Duque covering at first in the 3rd, and then flied out to center in the 5th. Along with Jim Cott and Al Leiter, I'm Michael Kay, and you're watching Yankees Baseball on the Yes Network. We thank you for joining us on this Friday evening, the beginning of a holiday weekend. Yankees leading the Mets 2-0 in the first game of the second phase of the Subway Series. That one's fouled away.
You look at Jason's home run and RBI total. He's not quite up there in RBIs with David Ortiz, but he could really make a case for him being to the Yankees what Ortiz is to the Red Sox, because they don't always come late in the game, but he gets a lot of home runs at the right time. The one in Wednesday's game tied it late. The one in today's game, first inning, gives him an early lead. He's 1 behind Ortiz in home runs and 8 behind him in RBIs.
Count 1-2. We told you before the rain delay that July 1st of last year, if you go 1 calendar year, he has 50 home runs and 127 ribbies over 147 games. So now it's 51 home runs and 128 ribbies. Blew it right by him upstairs. And that's a big out for Sanchez because Jeter does not move to 3rd.
Pretty good sequence. Little breaking ball there, fouled off late. That's got good movement on it. And now this last one, perfect spot to a left-hand power hitter, up and in with some movement, 96 miles an hour.
Pitch to A-Rod is a blistering fastball inside, 1-0. A-Rod fouled out to the catcher in the first, fly to left in the 4th, and fly to right in the 6th. Popped up. Castro behind the plate. And the goodwill lasted, I don't know, 2 days. Hey, you have to keep it here after the last out for the Nissan postgame with Bob Lorenz, David Justice, and Kimberly Jones, featuring detailed analysis of tonight's game, interviews with players, plus scores and highlights from around baseball. The Nissan postgame immediately following the game, only on Yes. And here is Posada. Posada 1 for 3. Jeter remains at second. He led off the inning with a double. And they're going to intentionally walk Posada and deal with Bubba Crosby. So Willie Randolph has seen enough of Posada get big hits over the years. He'd rather take his chances with Bubba Crosby. last 2 games, that includes the 4-3 victory over the Braves on Wednesday, the Yankees are 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position. That only base hit was Andy Phillips' RBI single in the 4th inning. And the Yankees are 1 for 7 tonight in those situations. So an intentional walk for Posada, and that'll bring up Crosby for the first time tonight. He took over in right for Bernie Williams. While in there, Bernie Williams was 2 for 3. Also scored a run and stole a base. You see what Bubba's done this year, 245, spent a good chunk of time on the DL with a hamstring problem. First and second, 2 outs. And the count 1-0. Two 2-0 Yankees, looking for more. They have 8 hits. The Mets have just 1. Popped up. David Wright backpedals on the outfield grass. He'll put it away for the final out of the inning. So the Yankees waste the leadoff double by Jeter. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 9th. Last licks coming up for the Mets, and they'll have to do it against Mariano Rivera. We've played 8 full innings here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees 2-8-1, the Mets 0-1-0. Mo comes on, tries to hold the Mets down. Mariano Rivera will come in and try to close this down. And of course, he answered to the strains of Enter Sandman, one of the great entrances in sports, as he jogs in from left center field. And look at what he jogs into. A crowd of 55,245, the 17th sellout of the year for the Yankees. Carries a glove in the right hand, steady gait, and there is one and only Sandman, a reference to the fact that Mets closer Billy Wagner also comes in to the same song.
You were on the bench, Al, for a few of those. You find yourself getting caught up in the rhythm and the music when he comes in. That's I can kind of make the hair stand up in the back of your neck sometimes.
There's one place in baseball that it does that, and it's when Hoffman comes in.
Hell's
Bells at Qualcomm, because it was closed in. It just sounded the reverberation of it. Just that you stop and it was pretty cool.
Well, the Mets have managed just 1 hit against 4 Yankee pitchers. Now Mariano Rivera will try to hold him down. Endy Chavez is the only Met with a hit tonight. A clean 6th inning single to left field against Ron Ballone. And Rivera deals. Endy Chavez has never faced Rivera, so no history there. Castro's 0 for 1 and Reyes 0 for 5. Delgado on the bench, but he has a pulled ribcage muscle, 7 for 19 against Rivera. Thought about bunting, but takes a strike.
I was mentioning it to Al between innings. As many bats as Mo breaks, the left-hand hitters, I'm surprised more lefties don't try to. It's pretty tough getting the base hit the other way. You'd think they might try to bunt.
Popped up. Jeter. 1 away.
I would think the win would go to Ron Vallone. He pitched 2 scoreless innings, and then in came Proctor in the 7th, and actually Scott Proctor had to do the heavy lifting, really. He worked through the 2, 3, 4 men when it was a 2-0 lead. Farnsworth with a clean inning. Mo gets to face the bottom part, and then the leadoff hitter.
Here's Ramon Castro. He's 0 for 2, flied to right and struck out. And there's a strike. Willie really doesn't have much of a bench. Nady's hurt, Delgado's hurt, but they're on the active list. He has Eli Marrero and Chris Woodward. The 0-1. 1-1. David Wright's had a rough night, 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. the way and down the right field side. And the count now 1-2. Tries to go up the ladder, and the count 2-2. Strike 3. Yankees 1 out away.
Now Mo's really become effective with that pitch. Most of the time you throw that cutter in the outside corner, but that time he throws it inside. You saw Castro give ground, and then it cuts just across the inside corner. I guess you'd call that a front door cutter.
Here's Jose Reyes. 0 for 3. Runs the hands up the bunt, takes a pitch low. 1-0. Reyes is batting from the right side against Mariano Rivera, so he's trying to take the cutter away. And he chops at the short. Jeter, 360, fires, got him! And the Yankees win 2-0. It's the 5th Yankees shutout of the season. It took 5 pitchers to do it, and 5 Yankee pitchers held the Mets to just 1 hit. And that 1 hit, Endy Chavez, a clean single to left field in the 6th.
A pretty nifty play to finish it off. Jeter knows how fast Reyes is, so he's taken no time in making the pivot in the throw.
And for the Mets, their first 4-game losing streak of the season. And for the Yankees, a victory coupled with the Red Sox loss to the Marlins. And the Yankees cut the Red Sox lead to 3 in the American League East. The home run for Jason Giambi. That was in the 1st inning. That's all the Yankees needed, as it turns out. And then an RBI single by Andy Phillips in the 4th, and they survive an hour and 3-minute rain delay. That cost them Mike Messina, but the bullpen did its job beautifully. So a 2-0 Yankee victory over the Mets, and the guy that gave the Yankees the lead for good, Jason Giambi, joins our very own Bobby Mercer right in front of the Yankee dugout. Bobby?
All right, Michael, thank you very much. The month of June, not a bad month for you, Jason. 11 home runs, and you have 24 on the year, and the home run that you hit tonight, that was the game winner.
Yeah, you know, I'll take it. I don't think I even had a career average against El Duque. So, you know, I got one I finally left over the plate for me, and, you know, I was ready to hit it and didn't miss. And then after the night, you know, he was back tough again on me.
I don't know how you feel about this. You know, with Matsui out of the lineup, you got Sheffield out of the lineup. Those are a lot of home runs. A-Rod the other day came up with the game winner. It was a home run. Do you two guys talk about how much pressure it really is and what the team is looking up to you guys to come up with these big hits?
Well, definitely, we're the 2 big guys in the lineup. You know, Jeet does a great job of Johnny Damon getting on for us. And, you know, like I've always said, I love having that responsibility, trying to be that guy in that spot to come up with the big hit. And we work well together, Alex and I, me being a left-handed hitter and him being right-handed, you know, because you don't want to put it on somebody else, you know, especially we're the 2 guys that have won some MVPs and gone on. So I enjoy being in it. And, you know, Alex got the big hit the other day, and he's just about to start to get hot.
What can we look forward to in the month of July?
I hope so. You know, I just keep it going. And, you know, the work I've been doing with Donnie's been great. You know, we've stayed on that routine that we had last year. We've kept it. And, you know, I feel great up there.
Congratulations. Great win tonight.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. All right, Michael, back up to you 3 amigos.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bobby, and thanks to Jason as well. Since July 1st of last year, Jason Giambi now with 51 home runs over a period of 148 games. A lot of heroes in this one. When we come back, we try to break this down. We'll hand out the awards that you love so much, and then a full post game as well. Yankees win 2-0.